Okay, welcome everybody to Wall Street Reporter's Discovery Day live stream, December 27th, and we are back with one of the hottest stocks, actually the hottest stock in the lithium space, Snow Lake Resources, Snow Lake Lithium. Frank Wheatley, the CEO of the company. Frank, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Jack. Happy holidays and all the best for 2024.
Absolutely. We're off to a very good start. We're actually in a great setup for 2024. The stock is actually on fire. LITM on NASDAQ basically almost doubled in the last week or so. And, one of the catalysts has been your announcement that you're expanding the lithium portfolio. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, again, Snow Lake Resources, you are expanding, you have these very significant lithium, these battery metals projects in North America, in Manitoba, and you have actually a resource, right? You have an 8 million ton resource, which is going to go into production very soon. But in the meantime, on the last live stream we had you on, you talked about the strategy, really the growth strategy, and this is really the investment thesis. Why should anybody be interested in the stock right now? Is that you're taking advantage of what's been kind of a short-term downturn in lithium to pick up a lot of really compelling lithium properties, lithium projects in Canada. Because, again, this is a generational opportunity. Everybody understands, the importance of battery metals for EV production and everything. So, Frank, first I want to congratulate you. Thank you for actually, you're actually living up to what you promised the audience last time we had you on. So, this latest news release shows that you are delivering.
Thank you very much. Yes, we're pleased. As you indicated, the downturn in the lithium space has presented a number of opportunities. For those that don't know, Snow Lake has two hard rock lithium development projects in northern Manitoba, in the Snow Lake region of Manitoba. They are at the pre-feasibility stage. We also have a measured and indicated resource of 8.2 million tons, grading about 1% lithium. We are looking at hard rock assets, and an opportunity came to us, which we announced last week. We have acquired 37 mineral claims in southern Manitoba. 31 of those mineral claims adjoin the Tanco lithium mine, and 7 of those claims are about 20 kilometers north of the Tanco mine, adjoining another historic lithium mining district in Manitoba. Again, for those of you who don't know, and one of the reasons that we're quite excited about this acquisition is the 31 claims that border the Tanco mine. The Tanco mine has been producing lithium in Canada for the past 50 years, up until last August, I believe, when Sayona brought its lithium mine on stream in Quebec. Tanco had the only producing lithium mine in Canada, literally for the past 50 years. Jack, there is an old saying in the mining industry, the best place to look for a new mine is beside an existing mine. That's why we're quite pleased to have entered into this agreement with Acme Lithium. These claims, as I indicated, and Jack, maybe if you can pull up the map on the press release, we can show your audience exactly where. The red blocks on the bottom of the map, those are the mineral claims that we have optioned from Acme Lithium. The blue immediately above that, and right in the center where you see the crossed hammers, is the location of the Tanco mine. So you can see that we do border the southern boundary of the existing Tanco mine. The Tanco mine is, for those who want to know, a LCE, lithium tantalite cesium pegmatite. And we are looking at designing an exploration program to explore these claims. We're optimistic that we can find something. It is exploration. We have to design the program. We have to do the work, but we like the location. We like the geological address, if you will. And certainly we are in the area where as I say, the only lithium mine in Canada that's been producing for the past 50 years.
Okay, so we're going to talk about more of the details, but last time we had you on, I think one of the things that you mentioned is, one of your goals is, I think we have an incredible opportunity, which I think people are starting to realize, is that, you really have this opportunity to build one of the dominant players in the lithium, the battery metal space in North America right now. One of the advantages, which I think people don't realize, is that, there's a bunch of lithium stocks out there. Maybe some of them are, they could be close to production or whatever. But, I think you're one of the few, maybe one of two or so, that are on NASDAQ. That's a significant advantage. That's one of the reasons we're seeing massive volume in the stock right now. There's a lot of interest, and you could use this stock basically to make acquisitions, to pick up other properties. And again, we have this incredible opportunity right now. Obviously, you're taking advantage of this with this latest portfolio expansion. And again, we've had this short-term downturn in lithium prices because, again, nothing goes up in a straight line. But there is no question that the demand for lithium, for battery metals, is only going to be increasing because, again, the transition to electric vehicles, which we're going through right now, is, I think, what are we at? We're not even a 1% market penetration. Everybody wants to make these things mainstream. That's going to mean there's going to be this massive demand, for lithium over the coming years. Without the lithium, they can't make these batteries for the Teslas, the Lucids, whatever, the Rivians, whatever cars are out there, the GM, whatever cars are out there, they all need this. So, Frank, I want to mention one thing which is important. You actually have, 99% of the stocks that people come across that claim that they're lithium companies, they're really exploration companies. They're looking for lithium. They have some projects. You actually have, and again, we have a lot of new people in the audience. They may not be mining experts, but you have a mining resource right now, meaning that you have something that's been identified. You have the geologist that basically says, okay, we have the lithium in the ground. There's 8 million tons plus. 1% of that is lithium. So when you mine it, and obviously you have to do right now a pre-feasibility study, which is, the idea is, as you mentioned last time, you're going to be going into production, right? You're going to be mining this lithium. You're going to be pulling it out of the ground and selling it. That's the plan, right?
Ultimately, that's a long-term plan. Mining goes through various stages, from original discovery through exploration to resource estimate. Then you move through preliminary economic assessment, which we have completed. We're moving into pre-feasibility study. We've also been doing our environmental baseline data collection, which sets us up hopefully to submit our environmental permit application by the end of next year. Then you move through feasibility, financing, permitting, and construction. So yes, it's a well-trodden path for development of mining projects, particularly in Canada, and that's the path that we're following. And yes, we do have a mineral resource estimate. 89% of it is in the measured and indicated categories, which is good. A lot of resources you'll see out there are only in the inferred category. And really the difference in categories is the degree of confidence you have in the mineralization being present in the ground at the grade that is estimated at.
Okay, so the idea though is that the mining production, that's going to take a while. You're in the process of that. So the main project, that's you're expecting to go into production, that that could take, I don't know, a year, 2 years, whatever it is, right? But in the meanwhile,
correct.
And again, this is what investors are looking at. This is why the stock is moving, is because, again, these mining stocks, junior miners, and technically you're a junior mining company. These things move based on the action in terms of, okay, are you expanding your portfolio? It's based on the assets, right? So it's kind of like right now the stock is really valued based on the assets, not based on revenues, right? It's not going to be valued based on revenues for a number of years.
Until
we're not even
in
talking
production.
that's going to be down the road. But right now, it's an asset play, expanding the assets. That's what the market cares about. For the layman out there, I think just to give an idea, what's the value? What would you say is the value based on the comparable companies out there, the peer group? What's the value of the lithium of the project that's kind of in the ground? Not the new one, the existing one. What's the kind of the value of that?
That's a bit of a loaded question, but if you look at our preliminary economic assessment, it has some rather large numbers in there. It's got a net present value estimate of more than $1 billion based on the lithium that's in the ground that we have identified so far. Internal rate of return is over 200%. Those are all good numbers, but what you have to do is move through the next phases of development, which is the pre-feasibility study, the feasibility study. And what those studies do is increase ultimately your resource estimate into proven and probable reserves. It also increases and sharpens your pencil on operating costs, capital costs, and the project economics ultimately.
Okay, so in theory, right, the net present value of the lithium that's in the ground is, let's call it about $1 billion, right? In reality, you're not going to get at current rates, whatever, you're not going to get $1 billion. You're not going to generate $1 billion in revenues. You're going to generate maybe, I don't know, a couple hundred million. I don't know what the number is. It's because whatever, it's going to take years. But right now, here's the thing. Here's the opportunity, I think, for investors, right? I'm looking at this as an investor. The market cap of the company right now today at stock is $1.25, whatever. Is about $25 million US,
Correct.
maybe 30 million fully diluted, I think. About 30 million
approximately,
okay.
Yeah.
So right now, let's say if you're looking at like this as, let's say, Warren Buffett would look at it, okay, I'm paying $30 million for the whole company. What are the comps in the space? Let's say, what are the peer groups trading at right now that have something similar to what you have in North America? Is there like, what are the numbers like? Can you sell this for 50 million tomorrow? Is the question. 100 million. What is it worth now?
That all depends on the potential buyer. But I think, the important thing that we're looking at is we are based in Manitoba. It is a historic lithium mining jurisdiction, which I think is important. It has an existing lithium mine currently producing. We have now locked up some exploration ground adjacent to that mine. So our focus is on Manitoba, which is very mining friendly. It's got a historic mining history. It's got a current mining history as well. And certainly Manitoba is looking, as well as other provinces in Canada, to have the next mine come online, and they would prefer to have it be a battery metal mine, in our case, a lithium mine.
Okay, so now we're looking right here at so this is the project, the Acme project next to the Tanko, which is the producing mine right next to you. What's the game plan here? Because again, the stock is going to be moving based on exploration, based on if you can expand the resource. You can what's the kind of what kind of news flow can we expect over the next 90 days? Frank, I'd love to tell you that our audience is long-term investors, but in reality they're speculators, right? So
Sure.
They want to know what could drive the stock in the next 2 hours, basically, or 90, realistically 90 days. What are the catalysts for the stock in the next 90 days?
We're in the mineral claims adjoining Tanko. We're in the process of going through the data and the exploration work that Acme has done. We will work with Critical Discoveries, who are do a lot of work in Manitoba, to design an exploration program to explore this ground. We hope to have that initiated in the first quarter. It is winter now, so there is a lot of snow cover. There is limited work that we can do, but certainly once the snow starts to melt, we'll be on the ground using Critical Discoveries, and they will help us design an exploration program. So we'll have boots on the ground come break up early spring.
Okay, so the thing that I think the last time we had you on, we talked about your partner, which is again the geology, all that stuff. This is being done by this critical
Discoveries. Yes.
Critical
They're
Discoveries.
a consulting geological group. Yes.
Okay. So they have a team of pros, geologists that they work with miners basically to put together programs to do this exploration, all that stuff. It's sort of so that's the idea. So they're going to be starting on that in the next couple of weeks, I'm assuming.
Probably not the next couple of weeks, but certainly in the first quarter. Again, It is winter. There is a fair bit of snow cover. We do need the snow cover to start to melt. So certainly in the first quarter, we're going to use the time, as I indicated now, to go through the existing data on the project and scope out an exploration program to hit the ground running once the snow starts to melt.
Okay. So any type of drilling is going to happen in the spring, basically.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So in the meanwhile, one of the things I think that investors should be paying attention to, which I think they are, is, the last time we had you on, you mentioned you had a pipeline of potential projects, acquisitions, in the battery metal space, in the lithium space. That's what I think you said that in late October, early November, and sure enough, we have this LOI that was announced last week. Now
Right.
the question is, what else is in the pipeline? What else? What other potential acquisitions can we expect?
Well, I certainly can't give you details, but what I can tell you is we continue to look. I think the downturn in the lithium space, the flip side of that is opportunities. And the Acme ground is the first opportunity to come our way. And I'm very pleased that that's the first opportunity that we were able to execute on, given its location and proximity to the Tanko mine. I think that's a great start to expanding our portfolio. Again, we're focused on hard rock. We are focused primarily in Manitoba. Certainly not looking at brine, certainly not looking outside of North America. Focus will be Manitoba first, Canada second, and obviously North America. That's where the EV transition, that's where the supply chain security, you see the Canadian government, the US federal government, all focusing on supply chain security. So that's where our focus will be. But yes, we are fortunate in the sense that we do have a number of opportunities that are crossing our desk, courtesy of the downturn. But I think the Acme one illustrates that we're fairly disciplined in our approach, and we're looking for potentially quality assets. Even though this ground is exploration ground, we like the geological address of it.
Okay, right. So you're next to one of the biggest lithium mine in Canada, and what did I want to ask you here? Okay, so critical resources. They're going to be critical discoveries. Is
Right.
going to be doing the geology in this. Also, one thing we should mention is all your assets are very close to. They're all they all have kind of infrastructure there. They're very close to the roads. So
Yes.
it's all stuff that's it's all economically feasible, which is a big deal. In terms of a cash position, what's do you have enough cash to go through with any type of exploration programs over the next few years?
Yes, we do. As you know, we did raise some flow-through dollars back in September. They were designated for Manitoba. Again, another reason why the Acme acquisition is appealing to us, because we can spend the flow-through dollars that we did raise back in the fall on our exploration program on this ground.
And what was, if you can recap, what was the size of
We
that
raised
financing?
7.2 million Canadian back in September.
Okay, 7.2 million. And actually, it's interesting. I remember that was actually at a premium to where the stock was, which was like kind of impressive. It was
Yes.
usually these things are at a discount, so it was actually pretty impressive. So you have enough financing right now, $7 million plus. That's enough to cover a
We
lot
can
of.
start work on the Acme ground. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a lot. And again, from what I understand, flow through financing, the way it works in Canada is, it's not like in the US, company raises money. I don't know, they raise $7 million. They could spend it really on whatever they want. When you do the flow through is specifically on geological exploration. It's not for anything else.
Absolutely. The dollars have to go into the ground, as they say. They have to be spent on the project. Excuse me. They cannot be spent on G&A. So it is designated to enhance exploration activities in Canada.
Okay, so that's that's important, and I think at the same time, I think that that's a pretty decent cash position that makes you an attractive partner for other lithium projects explorers out there that might be kind of looking at you and saying, well, these guys have the money. Maybe they have a NASDAQ listing. There's some strategic partnerships that are possible.
We were fortunate to raise the flow-through financing in September before the lithium market, which was already in a bit of a downturn, really kind of bottomed out. So our timing was good in that sense. A lot of our peers and competitors have not been so fortunate, don't have the treasury that we have. So yes, we're fortunate. And as I say, we're we're looking at opportunities and being disciplined in our approach. And I think Acme is a good illustration of our approach.
Okay. Frank, okay, I think this is a good recap. Yeah, I did kind of ask you this before, but okay, in the next, let's just say, couple of weeks, the next 30 days, right? Let's just look at it for 30 days. For investors out there that might have more of a short-term mindset, which a lot of them do. What are some of the potential catalysts out there that they can keep, their potential milestones? What could move the stock in the next 30 days into January? Like again, I'm not asking you like what, but I think you understand like what's out there that could potentially be a catalyst or a milestone.
Well, now that we have two assets, we will be focusing on developing the Snow Lake asset and doing initial exploration on the Acme ground that adjoins Tenco. Have indicated that there are other opportunities that are crossing our desk. We will continue to look at those, and if they are appropriate, we will act on them.
Okay. You're being, I like
That's
this,
about all I can say.
We're not making any promises.
No.
Okay, but okay. The last time you said you had opportunities and you moved on one.
We continue to have opportunities. Acme
Okay.
is one that has come to fruition. There are other opportunities that we continue to look at. Again, we're taking a very cautious, disciplined approach, and we continue to do that.
Okay. So basically, I guess anybody watching this, you're a very conservative guy. So whatever you're saying, I'm going to kind of read into and extrapolate that it could be a lot more under the surface. Again, we're not saying that. I'm not making any recommendations. This is all. But okay, so bottom line is the company's delivering on the promises, which I think is extremely important. And we're going to find out in the next couple of weeks if there is a lot more of these things to come. Because again, I think this is an incredible opportunity that you have right now, to build a dominant position in the battery metal space, in North America, with as a NASDAQ listed company. This could be, a really exciting pure play, because I think, look, probably in the next 6 months, when lithium battery metals, kind of starts bouncing back, and the EV stocks start picking up again, because again, we're still in that first inning. I mean, this is really a generational mega trend. We're in that first inning. So there's, when those assets, when those stocks start heating up, I think it's going to be, you're going to be in a very good position, potentially. So, all right, Frank, thank you for the update. And we'll look forward to getting more news from Snow Lake in the coming weeks.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Frank, thank you again, and Happy New Year. I'm sure I'll talk to you in the next week or so, in the new year of 2024.
Happy New Year to you too. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining our live stream. We'll see you all on the next one.